Hello, lads, lassies, of those of unspecified gender. I'm the Irishman here, and today I'm going to be talking about a what if I've had in my archives for quite a while now. I just haven't really found the right time to use it. Kind of like a perfectly aged wine. Vegeta is one of my favorite Dragon Ball characters of all time. And I don't think it's any secret, especially in the community, that Vegeta, never wins battles. Ever. He really only won one against Goku in the Majin Buu saga, but you really can't count that as a win. And then he immediately went and fought Majin Buu himself, and that was just the biggest failure ever. It was super cool, the final explosion, but it ended up not doing anything because Majin Buu just regenerated. It is one of my biggest problems with Z and the Majin Buu saga in general, and I just really think it would have been cool if it actually succeeded, if Vegeta had killed Buu there. So today I pose the question, what would have happened if Majin Vegeta won? Nothing really changes here up until Vegeta actually does the final explosion, completely eradicating Buu and sacrificing himself in the process. Now, with the day saved and no threat to defend against, Goku is able to spend the rest of the day with his friends and family before heading back to Otherworld. Although there is a slight problem. Gohan is with the Supreme Kai, but they all think he's dead, so they don't really know that Gohan's alive. Which isn't a huge problem. They do wish on the Dragon Balls for everyone to be brought back to life, but Gohan isn't dead. So normally I would just say that Shin would bring Gohan back to Earth and it's all hunky-dory, but Shin doesn't know that Majin Buu is defeated. So they still think that Gohan needs to train so he can beat Buu. So it's kind of just a huge misunderstanding, but Gohan is still in the realm of the Kais. Goku is a little bummed out. He won't get to see Gohan, probably until he's dead, but that's fine. He'll just spend time with the rest of his family and friends. Plus, they do need to revive Vegeta as well, but they would need to go to Namek for that. While they're all talking about this, similar to in the Cell Saga, Vegeta would say that no, he wants to stay dead. One, that way he can keep Goku company, and because he needs to pay for his sins. Vegeta would explain that even though he has become a better person being around the people on Earth, he still has killed billions of people on other planets, conquered civilizations, and he was all around just not a good dude before. And he can't live the rest of his life with that horrible moral boulder on his shoulders. Of course, Bulma and Trunks would beg him to rethink this. He doesn't have to stay dead, or at least give it some time. Don't rush the decision, but Vegeta has already made up his mind. And as we all know, he is just far too stubborn to be convinced. So, yeah, Vegeta's staying dead. Once Goku returned to the Otherworld because his time was up, which, by the way, would be a little more since he didn't have to use Super Saiyan 3 against Majin Buu, he would return to King Kai's planet and see Vegeta standing there by King Kai. Vegeta would be desperately trying to come up with a joke that could actually make King Kai laugh, and Goku would overhear them squabbling, and Vegeta would say, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" King Kai would ask why, and Vegeta would look him dead in the eyes and say, "Because he wanted to get to the other side." King Kai would burst out in laughter. I can't believe he would underestimate Vegeta's comedy skills. Goku would ask Vegeta if he's ready for a proper rematch, no more Majin boosts or cheap tricks or anything, just a proper Saiyan battle. And Vegeta, well, this is music to his ears. The two would get into a battle stance, but then King Kai would interrupt, saying that they can't do it on his small little planet, it couldn't take that much force. Goku would ask King Kai where else they could actually do it, and King Kai would tell him that they could do it on the world of the Supreme Kai. I'm sure he'd be willing to have a few more students. Goku would think back to the day before and remember the Supreme Kai, and remember his energy signature before grabbing Vegeta's hand and eagerly teleporting away. When Goku and Vegeta get to the realm of the Supreme Kai, they would see Gohan in a mystical new form, training in almost godly clothes, looking similar to what Kibito and Shin wore when they visited Earth. Seeing Goku and Vegeta, Gohan would rush over asking how they're here and what's going on Earth. Goku would explain that Vegeta had been able to kill Majin Buu, but it took his life in the process. Gohan is saddened to hear this, but Goku continues by saying that now they're looking for a place to have a final battle. Well, I use final very loosely, they're going to continue fighting for eternity in the afterlife, but this is supposed to be like settling any built-up tension between the two. They'd come here because they assumed that the Supreme Kai's world would be a very, well, suitable place for this, seeing as the ground is more sturdy and they're not afraid of breaking anything. And Gohan would ask if this is okay, and Shin would reply that it absolutely is. Vegeta's the one to save the universe from Majin Buu, and Goku has been saving the universe since he was like 7, so it's totally okay. Goku would ask Gohan first if they could spar, and, well, Gohan has daddy issues, so of course he accepts. The two would start out in Super Saiyan, and then Super Saiyan 2, and then Goku, surprisingly to everyone there, would say that there's actually a step above this, and then he would proceed to transform into the lovable, always beautiful Super Saiyan 3. Everyone is amazed. Goku has a new transformation, and this is insanely powerful. How is this even possible? But someone in the crowd of people is kind of very livid. It's Vegeta. He is insanely upset. How could Goku not have used this against him? Or against Buu? If he had used it against Buu, then Vegeta wouldn't be dead. But then Goku explains to Gohan that when he was alive, he probably couldn't have even used this power or it would have killed him. He was barely able to use it in the afterlife up until now, without it completely crippling him. Goku and Gohan would continue sparring, and surprisingly, Gohan actually still has an upper hand. And then Gohan would look at his father and say that even though this new power is impressive, well, it's nothing compared to Gohan's max power. And then he would transform into his ultimate form. Goku, being a proud father as well as insanely impressed by his own son's power, would ask him where he got this kind of strength, and Gohan would explain the ritual that Elder Kai performed to give him the ultimate form. Goku would revert to base form and then immediately ask Elder Kai to do the same ritual on him, and Vegeta would intersect saying that he wants this done on him first. Goku already got a new power-up, now it's his turn. Elder Kai, trying to calm the situation down, says that he can do the ritual on both of them, and Goku and Vegeta would agree. Plus, that would make the fight more even since there's not really a definite answer on whether Ultimate and Super Saiyan 3 are the same. Even though I commonly use Super Saiyan 3 as a lowball for Ultimate. Roughly 2 days later, Goku and Vegeta, now both having the Ultimate form, would begin fighting. This battle would last for actual months, seeing as neither of them have to worry about stamina drain or sustaining any damage to their bodies since they're both dead. And the world of the Supreme Kai is sturdy enough to sustain most of the damage that Goku and Vegeta would be doing to it. But all good things must come to an end, and so, after 6 months, both of them fall down to the ground, having tied in this battle. Through this, they have both gotten multiple times stronger than they were before, seeing as they're training with one another for 6 months straight without having to stop. I would place both of them in their ultimate forms around where Super Vegeta was in strength, because the ultimate form is as strong as a baseline of Super Saiyan 3, and they've been using that constantly for 6 months while fighting each other. And as we said in the Dragon Ball Super manga, and possibly anime, it's been a while since I watched it, it was that their sparring together is almost as effective as his training. After they wake up, they would begin sparring again. For the vast majority of the next few years, all they would be doing is sparring with each other, training, getting stronger. They would eventually be able to mix Super Saiyan and Ultimate together, then Super Saiyan 2 and 3, to where at one point they are training for over a year in Ultimate mixed with Super Saiyan 3. Which I don't think I need to explain is absolutely insane. 5 years after the fight with Majin Buu, Beerus would arrive on the realm of the Supreme Kai, looking for the Super Saiyan God. This is during the time Goku and Vegeta are taking a break from training and choosing to meditate, mastering their strength rather than improving it. After Beerus questions them on whether or not they know about the Super Saiyan God, they would both answer, no, they don't. They know about God Ki, and they've been trying to acquire that for quite some time, but they've never heard of anything called a Super Saiyan God. Although they do have a Super Saiyan and an Ultimate form, which they've been able to mix into a very effective combo. Beerus would ask to see this power, and they would both oblige by turning into their Ultimate Super Saiyan 3 forms. Beerus would be impressed, but it's really nothing compared to him. He would ask to test it out firsthand with a quick sparring session, and they would, once again, agree. They would then rush at Beerus, but he easily handles them. In only a few attacks. He's able to dodge most of the stuff they're able to throw at him, and most of his hits that land are very effective. Although, note that I said all of the ones that hit. Goku has gotten surprisingly good at being able to dodge, almost as if it's second nature. It's kind of what Master Roshi had in terms of Ultra Instinct. It's kind of like a martial arts mastery over Ultra Instinct rather than the way the angels would use it. After the fight's over and both Goku and Vegeta are, well, looking worse for wear, Whis would bring up how Goku was using the basics of Ultra Instinct, and even though he doesn't have the form, it wouldn't be too hard to teach him that. And if they were to actually allow Goku and Vegeta to get a mastery over God Ki, then that might be able to trigger the Super Saiyan God transformation that Beerus is looking for so much. This is music to Beerus's ears, so he would drag Goku and Vegeta back to his planet and have Whis train them ASAP. Goku and Vegeta have no objections since they're both dead and have nothing better to do, and it does sound like it'd be a great route to power, which is really just what they're striving for at the moment. After a few months, Goku and Vegeta would both get a mastery over God Ki, attaining the Super Saiyan God form, and Goku would actually be able to achieve Ultra Instinct Omen pretty much at will, since he already had the basics down, and with this training, only focusing on achieving Ultra Instinct, because that's what Beerus wants, it would become even easier for Goku to acquire it. To match Goku's Ultra Instinct form, Vegeta would mix Ultimate with God, but this isn't quite enough, so he began to use Kaioken as well, going back and training with King Kai to get a better mastery over this technique. And no, that's not a slip up on my part, I do mean a better mastery. Goku would have taught Vegeta the basics of Kaioken while they were training with the Supreme Kai. I think it's about time to check back up on Earth, because they will become important in a minute. With Goku and Vegeta, well, dead, the Earth was more or less in the hands of the next generation, and there wasn't a problem because Gohan was plenty strong with his Ultimate form, and if push came to shove, Goten and Trunks could become Gotenks, but there was a bit of a problem. Gohan wasn't taking his position seriously, and Goten and Trunks were kids. In fact, Goten and Trunks being kids were a bigger problem than you would think. Both of Goten and Trunks, especially Trunks because he just lost his father, wanted to be strong enough to protect the Earth if another Majin Buu level threat were to arise. The problem is that Bulma just lost her husband, and Chi-Chi just lost her husband for the second time. Actually third. So neither of them are particularly stoked and willing to let Goten and Trunks just go train and become the defenders of Earth, putting their lives on the line. They're not really okay with that. But that wouldn't stop Goten or Trunks. They would persevere. They would meet up one day and then they would run away to the dojo of a certain Z fighter. I am talking about Tien Shinhan. Even though Tien doesn't want to go against Chi-Chi, he does understand that Goten and Trunks are the Earth's best line for defense, and if he rejects them, they're just going to go find someone else. Not that he wants to, because training the Earth's next generation, well, it's suiting for him. After Tien has taught them all he thinks they need to know from him, he would then instruct them to go train with Master Roshi. Master Roshi is surprised to see them, but is always willing to take in new students, so he would begin to train them the way he trained Goku and Krillin when they were younger, except using much heavier turtle shells and making sure that they're doing more complex tasks, since the power difference is very large. After 3 months of intense training, half what Goku and Krillin did when they were kids, Goten and Trunks are sent to go find Piccolo, climbing to the top of the lookout not only to train with Piccolo, but also train under the Guardian of Earth, Dende. Goten and Trunks would rush to the lookout, and they would choose to actually climb the tower rather than flying up it, seeing as that's how Goku and any other people who would train with Kami did it back in the day. So once they reached the top, they would talk with Piccolo, eagerly asking him to teach them all he knows and just be their mentor. Piccolo is touched and would agree to train them both, but make sure that they know it won't be easy. He would not only train them on the lookout, but also go into the Room of Spirit and Time, just to save some time, and also so they can get acclimated to the harsh environments and the 10 times gravity. The gravity isn't too hard to deal with, they're used to it, and even if they weren't, it's only 10 times, which, considering their high power, isn't too much. But they would also be mastering techniques such as the Masenko and Fusion, making sure that they can do it quickly and easily, so if they're ever in battle and defuse, they can refuse just as easy without the opponent stopping it. Now that Piccolo's training is finished, Goten and Trunks would return home, seeing as they have gotten strong enough to where they think they are able to protect the Earth from any threats that might come. Plus, they are old enough to where Chi-Chi and Bulma actually do respect their decision to protect the Earth. They don't want to lose them like they did their husbands, but they are able to respect Goten and Trunks' decision, seeing as they are old enough and it is their decision to make. Although they would ask them to be careful if there are any threats as powerful as Majin Buu lurking around. Here's where most YouTubers would get into Resurrection F, but I actually don't think that would happen, at least not yet, because Frieza in Resurrection F really just seemed like he hated having to breathe the same air as Goku and Vegeta, having to live in the same universe, let alone galaxy, as Goku and Vegeta. So he went to kill them so he didn't have to. He hated the fact that they were alive and that they existed. But now that both Goku and Vegeta are dead, that wouldn't be a problem for him anymore. So he would instead focus on increasing his military strength and rebuilding his empire, spreading across the universe almost like wildfire, and yeah, maybe Goku and Vegeta will go to stop Frieza since he's back to life, but it's really not their problem. See, he's not going and attacking Earth or destroying planets recklessly, he's just, well, building his empire, the thing he did when he was alive before. And even though they might want revenge, it's not like he's doing anything to affect them right now. They might not even know he's alive. Goku and Vegeta are keeping up with their regular training routines, getting stronger and mastering the power they already have, when another god of destruction from a completely different universe arrives on the planet. He would introduce himself as the god of destruction of Universe 6 and the brother of Beerus, with his angel attendant, the sister of Whis.